Our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan.
Hi kids, this is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show with my man Vince Delicio. And what's your last name?
It's Delicio.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, right.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you. The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is intense and rigorous, designed to improve skill levels for kids ages 7 to 14. Drills target hand and eye coordination, footwork, speed, agility, and quickness. Instruction from current and former professional and college athletes. Go to letitflyfootballcamp.com for more information. The Let It Fly Football Drills and Skills Camp is a proud sponsor of the Varsity Sports Show's IFL report with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston.
KDUS AM 1060 Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is brought to you by AC by J, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains.
This program is paid for by the JV Sports LLC and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince Delicio here with a plethora of things to deliver today on a beautiful Saturday morning. Such an amazing day. We've got a crew out at Camelback High School doing an NYS 13U game between the Phoenix Dragons and the Arcadia Titans. Should make for a great game out there. Joined in studio by a broadcast partner, Mr. Nick Hogan. Nick, how are you, sir?
I don't know how you could be bad in a time like this. Weather is starting to heat up, which I know is a bad thing here in Arizona, but for most places, that's a good thing. School's wrapping up, a lot of sports on. It's a good time to be alive.
I'll say it's a great time to be. Any time to be alive is a great time to be alive. But that's a good saying. It's a good philosophy and a good saying. But yes, I agree with you 100%. Nick, so many things swirl through my head that a lot of times I can't get them clear. And so I want to start off, first of all, by thanking you for all the fine work you've done over the course of this semester. You're a sophomore in the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University. You've done a lot of broadcasting work for us over the course of this season. I want to ask you, as the season now slowly draws to a close, what's been your, biggest challenge, favorite moment, whatever? First thing that comes to mind.
When I say when I think of my favorite moment, I think it just got to be. I go back to basketball season. We did some really fun games up at Saguaro. During their basketball season, that was really fun. I also loved. I think one of the funnest things I do is just doing that recruiting spotlight segment with Coach Perron.
Yeah, it is fun. It's kind of a neat thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Right. I'm kind of a nerd about that. I know it's NFL draft season. So
yeah.
I love watching film. Doing that kind of stuff, evaluating players. That's super fun to me. But I know that's not fun to everybody. Yeah. But that's something I love.
Well, when you and I started chatting last year about you joining us, there was one thing we talked about that you had interest in that you never had done before in terms of broadcasting, and that was baseball. And now you're calling games. So how has that experience been for you?
Yeah, it's been a super cool experience. And the reason why I never really got to call them growing up is because I was a baseball player.
Okay.
When you're playing the game, you can't ever broadcast the game.
That's true.
So being in the position with the headset on has been a super cool experience. It's definitely a different pace than basketball or football, right?
Yeah.
Where it is a little bit of a slower game, but I think that gives you a unique opportunity to fill in with some unique analysis rather than just having to match the speed of play in other sports.
I know I'll be the first to admit, along with my wife, that I'm not the easiest guy to get along with. And because of, everything there's a sense of urgency because I want to, deliver things. I like to make sure that we get things out to our audience and done. But in doing this semester and everything that you've been exposed to, and no holds bar, you can say whatever you want. Within reason, what has been like if you were to sell this experience to someone else that's considering coming on board and joining us as a production team member or a broadcaster? What has been the biggest takeaway for you?
I think my biggest takeaway is I'm the kind of person who goes to Cronkite. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do in the sports world yet, but what this internship or process we have here at the Varsity Sports Show allows you to do is a bunch of different things. If you want to do play-by-play broadcasting, you can do that. Color, you can do that. Camera. We're here live on a radio show, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You want to do a unique segment like the one I'm doing or like the ones you're going to hear today. There's a lot of different various production work. There's so many different avenues you can do with this internship rather than just being really narrowed down into doing one thing. So if you don't know what you want to do and you really want to narrow it down, I think that's the biggest selling point it has.
Awesome. Okay, well, with that, we're going to lead into the rest of the show today. We're going to be joined by Desert Mountain baseball coach Ryan Dyer. We've got a bunch of produced content today we're going to present from our talented team you're going to enjoy. We'll also be joined by Saguaro SaberCats head baseball coach Joe Mickey during the SaberCat Report. We've got the Jaguar Nation with Canyon View Jaguars head baseball coach. Today's a baseball day, a lot of football too, but baseball coach Nick Swanson. We are going to be joined by Isaiah Houston, Arizona Rattlers wide receiver. That guy is on fire this season for his team. Old buddy of mine, It's Dylan. We're going to be joined by the It's Dylan segment. We'll see what Dylan is up to. The Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surfing Report. We're going to hear from Phoenix Prowlers Women's National Football Conference head football coach Joe Ramirez. They're up in Seattle. We've also got a broadcast tonight out in Las Vegas. I'm going to be jumping in the car after the show, heading to Vegas for the Las Vegas Silver Stars. They are hosting the Utah Falcons tonight out at Faith Lutheran Stadium in Summerlin, Nevada. And then the Beachin' with Beal, Southern California Surfing Report. So a lot of good stuff and a lot of good stuff wedged in between. You definitely don't want to miss today's show, as if you do in general. There's a lot of variety here today, and we enjoy it, and we have a few laughs along the way. So, Aaron, go ahead. It's Desert Mountain Wolves baseball with Coach Ryan Dyer on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. All right. Well, Nick, you had a chance to call the Desert Mountain game this week against Paradise Valley. So I'm gonna lead it off here and welcome Coach Ryan Dyer to the show. Coach Dyer, welcome to the show and congratulations on the success you've had. You've been on fire this week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. It's been a great week of baseball, and looking forward to getting started in the state tournament next week.
Yeah, and so when you talk about the state tournament, to me, having played, obviously I didn't play down here in Arizona, but back up in Utah where I'm from, whenever we were going into the state tournament, one of the biggest things for us was momentum. You guys have won your past 5. So what do you think this momentum means for you and your squad as you head into the tournament?
Yeah, I think it's very important. You know, we had, as we've talked many times, a younger team this year, a team that started the year inexperienced, and we've definitely had some growing pains. We've had some injuries, and we've had guys that have had to step up and be a big part of the program that may not have been on the radar early on, and going into the state tournament with some new guys getting their sea legs on and getting hot at the right time. We definitely feel good about where we're at. However, there's 23 other teams that feel the same, and so we're going to just be ready to go and give our best effort.
Yeah, and another thing too, Coach, I thought was super interesting about your team all year is that you guys showed the ability to play with whoever you were matched up on the field. One of the most interesting games I saw you guys play was at Chase Field against Horizon. And a lot of people would, for better or for worse, call that game an upset when you knock those guys down. Do you think being able to beat a team like that in the regular season gives your team an edge, knowing for a fact that you can beat who many consider to be the top teams in Arizona?
Yeah, absolutely. Horizon still is, one of the 2 or 3 teams that I think will be playing on the final day of the season. They're very talented, along with Nogales, Canyon View, Millennium, Sunrise Mountain, even some guys like Castile. And so we've seen all the top teams. We were able to get one on Horizon against their superstar Grant Richardson. We do think we can play with those guys. However, we respect the talent and the ability that they have, and the coaching staff that puts them on the field every day. So we can play at that level. Just with a young team that is looking forward to the playoffs. The sky's the limit, but at the same time, you got to go play those guys again, and they're talented. So we're not taking anything for granted. We're just going to play one inning at a time and play Desert Mountain baseball, play hard, play good defense, throw strikes, and see where the chips fall.
Coach, I know there's still a couple of teams still have 1 or 2 games left in the regular season. Then they're going to do a couple teams have play-in, and then they'll have the brackets all set. But you guys are sitting at first in your conference in the 5A Northeast Valley. Do you know where things are going to be? I mean, you're going to be hosting, but do you have any idea like who you'll be hosting?
Sure. You can look at it and you can fortune tell a little bit. We have fingers crossed that we jump into the top 8 to get a first round bye. I think that's a long shot now that Millennium was able to beat Verado yesterday, so they're going to probably move up and stay in the top 8. I don't think Centennial is going to drop down. They're at number 8 right now, and we're sitting at number 9. So I would say more than likely that's probably where we will end up unless we get some good luck in our way on Monday. And then you look on the other side of the bracket, and we're looking at right now Cactus Shadows is sitting pretty solid at 24, and they're a team you do not want to play in the playoffs, I tell you.
Yeah.
They have Derek Schaefer, who's been resting all year, getting ready for the playoffs, and he's probably the best arm in Arizona, really, arguably. And he came out and threw the first time the other day versus Horizon, shut him down for 3 innings, and he was on a limited pitch count. But once the playoffs start next week, I understand he's ready to go. And that would be a team you don't want to see first round. And right now, that looks like who we would be matching up with if things stay where they're at. But again, we're not going to focus too much on the other side of the dugout who
Sure.
we're playing. We're just going to play Desert Mountain baseball, and we got guys too, so we're just going to play hard and compete for 7 innings and give it our all.
All right. Coach, we appreciate the opportunity to cover you guys this season. It's been a lot of fun, and we wish you well in the postseason. Obviously, defending 5A state champions, you're going to have your work cut out for you because you've been walking around all season with the target on your back, but still came out pretty good shape. So, Coach Ryan Dyer, Desert Mountain Wolves. Coach, good luck to you, and we'll circle back soon.
Thanks, guys. Good talking to you.
Hello, this is Sam Valenti with the Varsity Sports Show, and I have the absolute honor today of being joined by Arizona Rattlers legend Randy Gatewood. Randy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. It's good to be on. Good to be able to talk sports and talk just life and everything, man. So I'm happy to be on with you today, my man.
Hey, well, it's a pleasure to be talking with you. Let's just get started off. What was your favorite memory? And you had a lot of memories, but what's your favorite memory of playing with the Rattlers?
Ooh, man, we had a lot. There were so many memories, but it would have to be the 1997 championship. We won it there at home. Every playoff game was at home. Everything just seemed to come together for us that year, man. And winning the championship here in Arizona in front of our home fans, everything that came with that weekend of celebration. And at the time, Jerry Colangelo still owned the team, man. So it was just a really super cool day, night. And that would probably be the best memory, out of my time with the Rattlers would be that 1997 championship.
Now, when you were playing, you were an Iron Man, meaning you played on offense and on defense. So, you played as a wide receiver, you played as a defensive back. What position did you prefer and why?
So naturally, I was a wide receiver, and I preferred to play wide receiver because I liked offense over defense. I had the privilege of playing both ways in high school. So when I got to the Rattlers, it wasn't completely foreign for me to go back to playing some DB, but I prefer to play wide receiver. I was a wide receiver through college and coming up through high school.
Once again, this is Sam Valenti, Arizona Rattlers beat reporter, joined by Rattlers great Randy Gatewood here on the Varsity Sports Show. Randy, you've been getting involved in the food industry recently. So how did you first get involved with that? And, what led to Randizzle's food truck?
It's really, I've always been a dreamer, and I've always sort of developed this entrepreneurial mindset after college. And
Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Thursday and Saturday night high school football game of the week. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans partner up with the varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Choose from Thursday or Saturday night and have an exclusive audience on a big stage. Call or text us at 480-779-9437 right away and join our team. High school football action on Thursdays and Saturday nights this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show. Your real estate professional, Harold Steffi, broker and owner at Core Values Realty, believes it comes down to 5 things: trust, integrity, respect, honesty, and loyalty. These are just not words. They are what they say they are, nothing else. When you choose Harold Steffi, whether you are buying or selling your home, you can expect your 110% satisfaction and his commitment to ensuring that all your real estate needs are taken care of every step of the way. Call Harold Steffi at Core Values Realty, 623-693-6178.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
Pinnacle Pain and Spine's team of professionals are ready to help with that nagging head, neck, back pain, and arthritis with proven treatment as soon as your first visit. Dr. Matthew Crooks and his friendly team have the highest consumer ratings in trust, friendliness, and easy scheduling. They work with most insurance plans. With locations in Scottsdale, Chandler, and Fountain Hills, PinnaclePainAZ.com or call 480-407-6400. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer.
This is holistic nutritionist and personal trainer Jen Mayer, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Your caddy, Ray Adams, takes you beyond the 18th hole on Saturday mornings with Great American Golf from 6 to 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Weekly Wellness. Activate lifestyle and performance coaching with local fitness and nutrition experts Tyler and Jen Mayer on the Varsity Sports Show AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. Weekly Wellness with our old friend Tyler Mayer. Tyler, not all of us are as flexible as you are, and not only with our schedules, but with our bodies. But you wanted to address an interesting topic today, stretch.
Well, hey, good morning, listeners. Good morning, Vince. Good morning,
Nick. Nick is the other guy here. Nick.
Who's that?
Nick.
Nick's the other guy? Well,
yeah.
Good morning, Vince. Good morning, Nick. Hope you guys are well. Yeah, flexible, relative term, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you're anything like me, listeners out there, you love to get in a great hard workout, and it's kind of fitting because I want to talk about stretch and recovery, and I'm about to jump into a stretch and recovery class here with some close folks of mine as well. So keep in mind, everybody, the body is built to recover and to avoid injury. So the body knows it wants to protect itself. But again, we continue to place it and take it through whatever that may be, the rigors of daily activity, sports performance, and stress. And, coaches, I really want to talk to you out there today and, even the weekend warriors as well. But if left alone, the body will try to heal itself. But, and my challenge, who has time for that, right? I mean, as the knowledge and understanding of all this exercise and the science of the physiological aspects of the body continue to grow, and believe it or not, more and more people are engaging in sports and recreational activities, no matter someone's fitness level, recreational goals, or again, just weekend activities. Most importantly, people need to have a principle of recovery process. Now, Vince, I know you know what feeling the burn means.
Yeah.
I know you know that.
Yeah.
And that's usually just in the middle of August, right? You feel the burn here. So we talk about the lactic acid buildup. Coaches, your players have heard this before. Ways to prevent this lactic acid buildup, just from a high level, the volume of what we do, the intensity of what we do, the duration of what we do needs to be a gradual progress.
I have bad lactic acid buildup just by moving on the recliner.
Well,
I get it.
I'm sure, and I want to touch on that here in just a second. Of course. We have to incorporate these rest days and lighter scheduled training days. I tell you, when I was in, dare I say, my prime, and we were playing soccer nonstop on the road, traveling, 3-4 games a week, there was nothing better than a walkthrough day. I loved our walkthrough days. One, it gave the body a break, but it allowed you to mentally prepare for the competition coming up. I'll leave more of this to Jen coming up, but fueling the body properly and fueling your body properly and supplement as we need it. Okay. Now, again, Vince, without mentioning any names, some people live in a state of recovery. Oh, okay, I get it. So you know who that might be.
Yeah.
So, however, most people don't have a post-exercise recovery plan. And it's pretty simple. Why don't we have this post-exercise recovery plan? Because there's nothing sexy about it, right? There's no immediate result.
Yeah.
However, if we truly want muscle gains, reduce the risk of injury, and reduce this muscle soreness, we need to have recovery. It becomes essential. What happens to our muscle as we stress it and take it through this weight training and speed work? The muscle fibers tear, and this tearing is what gives us that soreness. However, it's the recovery of that muscle that allows it to grow and perform at high levels as well. So I want to talk about a few topics here in terms of recovery, and then we'll get a little more finite here, and it's going to be great because I'm incorporating a lot of these into my upcoming class as well. So, muscle typically needs 24 to 48 hours to repair after high levels. Here are some common steps that we can take. Replace fluids. You hear Jen and I talk about it all the time, especially out here in Arizona. Water supports every function, metabolic and nutrient transfer in the body. Healthy recovery foods. I'm going to tee this up right now. Next week, Vince, Jen's going to talk about meal replacement and protein shakes, and we'll probably even throw in there some supplementation as well. Parents, listen to that next week because the supplement industry is a billion-dollar industry. Not all of it may be suitable for your young athlete, okay? So healthy recovery foods, rest and relax. What's the first thing somebody tells us to do when we have a cold? Rest, okay?
And eat.
What's that?
Eat. Comfort food.
Comfort food,
a lot of
right?
eating.
Okay, well,
yes.
As long as you're resting, give your body a chance to rest. But those comfort foods, those can create that inflammation. Jen's talked about that before, too. Come on now, Vince. So this is some of the post-exercise, the best way to allow your body to recover is to give it rest.
Yeah.
Stretch, where I'm ready to go in here, gentle stretch. Working those muscle groups you've worked out, holding each stretch for those muscle groups we trained 20 to 30 seconds at a time. Now, active recovery. Jen talked last week about the importance of clearing your mind and going for walks. A lot of times we go for these walks and we hold our cell phones, we're texting, we're whatever. Put the phone away. Get those arms moving, allow the body to calm. So walking, swimming, casual hike, yoga, again, will help reduce this lactic acid buildup, increase blood flow, simply offer lower impact options. And, one thing I really enjoy, obviously, massage. If you can afford massage, if you have a massage therapist, I was a therapist back in my day. I loved my training and massage combination. However, the manual manipulation of all stretching and active recovery to help flush the body, the water and these byproducts, there's so many different tools out there. We have these the Hyper Ice, the Hypervolt, the Theraguns. Be careful, okay, because you usually get what you pay for with these devices. Also, with these compression, modalities like the Theragun, I'll use Theragun because that's a brand out there. I'm not sponsored by it. It's just something I've used before. Less is better. More is not better with these vibration tools. So please be careful. Know how to use them. Now, at the end of the day, Vince, I'm going to give a nice plug here. When we are not recovering like we should, it could be the onset of a sports injury. This is where, as we know, our friends at the Fixed Body Group can help assess injuries, skeletal positioning, and help you get back to the life that you deserve to live. If that is something we need further, of course, our friends at Pinnacle Pain and Spine have these minimally invasive procedures that we can help with soft tissue regeneration, and just a list of things that they can help. So we have these options. We have these partners. Next week's going to be great with meal replacements and protein shakes. But again, when we put our body through the rigors and the day-to-day stresses, we need to have a shutdown, slow down recovery plan in place. So, as I always say, you guys, however, stay well, stay active, and within reason, keep moving.
All right. Tyler Mayer. Tyler, nice job.
Awesome stuff,
and
you guys.
Yeah, great job. And thanks so much to our partners at Fixed Body Group and Pinnacle Pain and Spine, some great people at both places that make all this possible for us. And looking forward to continuing that relationship with the both of those practices, because they just do so much good in the community. So
we sure do.
Yes. Tyler Mayer. Tyler, looking forward to it. Give us just a real quick 30-second preview of what we can expect from Jen next week.
So, we talked about, this recovery and meal replacements and, again, a huge industry, but parents, your kids are out there asking about protein shakes and supplements. So Jen's going to touch base on those, what to look for and what to look out for as well.
Awesome. Tyler Mayer. Thanks, Tyler. And we'll talk to Jen next week.
Thanks so much, you guys. Be well.
6th and 19. Najee Marshall is riding tall. McGee setting the high screen. That's a 3. Bullseye. Chris Paul.
The Phoenix Suns had a historic season this year, breaking the record for most wins in franchise history. This hasn't only been great for the team, it's been doing wonders for the establishments in downtown Phoenix. The city of Phoenix is home to approximately 1.6 million people, which begs the question, why does downtown Phoenix have a history of being described as dead or boring? Now, this might not be the case as of lately, but some downtown workers have noticed a drastic change over the last decade.
I definitely noticed a big change in downtown between 10 years ago. Now it's a hustling, bustling city versus quite literally a ghost town.
That was Kyle Graham, sous chef at the restaurant Pala in downtown Phoenix. He sees hundreds of people in and out of the restaurant every night. So what could have sparked this change of scenery in downtown? According to those running the businesses there, it's the success of the Phoenix Suns. General manager of Ingo's Tasty Food, a restaurant a block away from the Footprint Center, Douglas Motz, spoke on the subject.
It's huge when the Suns have a game, and they're going to the playoffs, so I just know there's another 2 months of busyness, as long as they keep winning, of course. So the staff absolutely loves it too. When they know there's a Suns game, they're excited. They know we'll be packed. The energy in the restaurant's just phenomenal.
Before COVID, the Suns were averaging nearly 15,300 fans in attendance for their home games. That ranked 29th among the NBA. In 2022, the team averaged 16,554, ranking 18th. It seems like as long as the Suns keep winning, the attendance will keep growing, making for a livelier downtown Phoenix. For the Varsity Sports Show, I'm David Montoya.
SEC Sports Talk with former NFL and MLB player Ed Smith and co-host Javon Adams airs Saturday mornings 10 to noon on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey, this is Coach Perone from My Recruits, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 Arizona, KDUS. Go Varsity!
Are you unable to do the things you love? Do you know your daily habits could be better to enhance your quality of life? Are you suffering with chronic pain or chronic illness and can't find the right solution that works for you? Fix Body Group was created so you have a team of professionals to help you achieve your health goals and get you back to doing what you love again. In Scottsdale, go to fixbodygroup.com or call 480-795-5329. Fix Body Group, proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer.
Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with SaberCat Athletics. That's right, the Scottsdale Saguaro SaberCats are on the Varsity Sports Show. Join the varsity team as we cover the Cats during the SaberCat Report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, featuring players, coaches, and commentary. Look out for live stream coverage of Saguaro SaberCat sporting events by going to YouTube and searching for Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button to stay up to date. The Saguaro SaberCats are here.
Have you downloaded the KDUS AM 1060 skill for Alexa yet?
Food. Alexa is frustrated. No matter how many times do you ask, the answer is mail, chicken.
Once you're ready, say Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060 to listen to your favorite shows.
The Varsity Sports Show presents the SaberCat Report with Saguaro High School baseball coach Joe Mickey. And now, here's the SaberCat Report.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Joined on the line, joined in studio by broadcaster Nick Hogan, a Salt Lake City native. Are you from a suburb of Salt Lake, or?
Yeah, I'm from southwest of Salt Lake City, so about an hour away from Salt Lake. I grew up on a farm out there. So,
a farm?
So a pretty rural area.
Wow. So did you milk cows growing up, or what did you?
No.
What was it like?
We don't have a dairy. It's a beef farm.
Oh.
So we had some big Angus cows.
Nice. Still to this day?
Yeah. Well,
wow.
I mean, my grandpa owns the farm, but we live right next to it, so we kind of hop on board, I guess.
Let me ask you this, because I've seen this in movies. Because didn't grow up on a farm. I grew up in Central Phoenix. But is cow tipping a real thing?
People ask me that all the time. I've never seen it, but I've once again wanted the same thing, right? You see some of the shows like Back at the Barnyard where they go do it.
Yeah. You've never tipped a cow. Okay.
No, after you've been kicked a couple times, you don't want to get any close to those things.
All right. Well, okay. Well, that we could segue to our next guest, and that is the SaberCat Report here with baseball coach, Saguaro SaberCats, Joe Mickey. Coach Mickey, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are we this morning, Vince?
Coach, great start to the week, and then you ran into a tough one last night, but you'll get a shot at redemption on Monday. Tell us about Seton Catholic.
Yeah, just a good ball club. It's usually a three-headed monster in our region, and between Mesquite, ourselves, and Seton, and that was the game that you kind of knew was going to be a tight game, and they're good arms up on the hill. You know, they're going to be always pretty competitive with whoever they're throwing, and you knew it was going to be runs at a premium. And Caminetti threw a phenomenal game for us. I think he struck out 8 of the first 9 batters. And, anytime you can't get your offense going when you have a pitcher who's throwing like that, it's kind of frustrating. But that's kind of part of the game, right? It's channeling the emotions and playing with emotion, but not being emotional. And the game definitely got chippy and exciting, and the guys definitely want to win. It's just making sure we're managing those emotions and getting at them again on Monday.
Absolutely. And when you talk about getting chippy and rivalries like this in baseball, I always think it's so interesting when you have a Friday game and you play once again the same team again on Monday. So for you as a coach, do you try to get the players in there on a Saturday like today? I mean, I hear baseball bats in the background. Is that your team, or do you guys get the whole weekend off?
No, we go right back to work, Nick. We talk about the grind doesn't know a day off, and especially after a loss like that, or just any type of, even in a win situation, it's about getting ready for the next opportunity. That's kind of life in a nutshell, but especially baseball, you got a series set, and you got to be prepared for the next crack at these guys or whoever you're playing next. And so even had we won that game 3-0, you enjoy it for the evening, and then you get back to work and prepare for the next chance. And unfortunately, we came out on the bad end last night. We're still going back to work and refocusing on how we can improve for the next opportunity.
Coach, tell us a little about postseason play. Now, you obviously you don't want to look ahead, but you kind of are a little bit. You have to and do your due diligence. And Monday, you are heading back over to Seton to close out the regular season. And then, how do things play out? What do you see happening?
Well, it's definitely it becomes an algorithm at that point, and you're right. It's balancing, not looking ahead, and also kind of trying to line up your staff and prepare accordingly. And so you try to juggle those two things. And so after Monday, Wednesday becomes a play-in game. So it's really you're trying to fight for those top 8 seeds, 1 through 8, and 1 through 8 will not play on Wednesday, and then 9 through 24 play on Wednesday. And they call it a play-in game. And that of those 9 through 24, it goes to really 1 through 16 for the following Saturday. So theoretically, you're playing Wednesday, Saturday, playoff baseball next week. Whether you're a 1 through 8, you're playing on Saturday, and if you're a 9 through 16 or a 9 through 24, you're playing Wednesday and hopefully Saturday. So you're trying to kind of really line yourself up, but also knowing that if you're playing on Wednesday or Saturday, it's really win or go home to get out of the first 2 rounds. And so you have to really kind of make sure your mind's in the right place. You're not looking ahead to any one date. It's just going and giving your best shot on the day that you're lined up to go. And so, regardless of what happens with Seton on Monday, I know we're a playoff-bound team. The boys have put themselves in that position, and that's a great feeling. And so then you just say, okay, you're kind of jockeying for a position at that point, and hopefully we get the highest seed possible with a successful outcome on Monday, and then see who we match up with if we're not in the top 8 on Wednesday. And that we won't know that until Tuesday. So really, you're kind of you're up against it a little bit as far as trying to really not look too far ahead, but also just saying, okay, here's how we're going to line it up and get ready to put the pedal to the metal and let it all hang out and go have some fun. And this is the best time of year. I think anytime you're playing postseason athletics of any kind, whether it be you're watching the Suns game last night or anything postseason, it's just it's a heightened energy and excitement, and we're right there. So it's a great time of year.
All right. Coach Joe Mickey, Saguaro SaberCat baseball coach, good luck, and we are excited and fortunate and look forward to covering you guys in the postseason here, and we'll be carrying the game on Monday night out at Seton as well, 6 p.m. on our Varsity Sports Show YouTube channel. Coach, we'll talk to you next week.
Look forward to it. Really appreciate you guys, and make sure you bring some earmuffs. It's going to be a loud one on Monday.
All right. We'll do.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
It's time for the Recruiting Spotlight, sponsored by My Recruits and Coach Perot.
Thanks for tuning in to the Recruiting Spotlight. My name is Nick Hogan, and today we're going to be highlighting Lane Swafford, a 6'2", 230-pound outside linebacker / DN from Ponte Vedra High School. And if you don't know where that is, if you're listening from Arizona, that's okay, because that is southeast of Jacksonville, Florida. And Swafford plans to graduate with the class of 2023. So obviously Swafford must be pretty impressive if we're willing to talk about him and mention what he can do on the football field all the way out here on the West Coast. He already has 2 Division I offers, one from the University of Tennessee Martin and from Marshall. So he's already off to a pretty good start in the recruiting cycle. And here's what Coach Perone has to say about him. Coach Perone said, "This guy has a motor that doesn't shut off, and coaches at the Power 5 level are turning their heads and wondering just how much of a game changer Swafford can be." So now let's take a look at what I was able to learn during my film study of Swafford. The first thing that jumped off of the tape for me was his great bull rush. He does a good job of engaging in the offensive lineman's chest, and sometimes he has a push-pull technique to get to the quarterback, but a lot of times he just goes right at him, doesn't need to use any finesse moves per se. He just has a great bull rush and is super physical, and that's led to a lot of sacks against passing plays, but also it's led for some pretty big tackles for loss in the run game, which it's nice to see defensive ends have both the ability to stop the pass and stop the run, because at times defenders can be pretty one-dimensional, but that's not the case for Swofford. And we already talked about his hand placement a little bit, but he gets his arms extended and creates a separation between him and the opposing offensive tackle, which is really nice because tackles, they want to keep those defensive ends in tight so they can control them on the chest plates. The D end can have a great first punch and keep a lot of extension that benefits the defender a ton. And with that, he's able to keep contained. That's one of the biggest priorities of a defensive end in a 4-3 scheme is you have to keep contained, force all of the run plays back inside to where you have help. Does a good job of that. And when he's not on the play side, he does a good job of trailing the play. So if there's a run the opposite direction from the side he's playing, he'll actually trail that. And a lot of times he makes the play. A lot of defensive ends don't show that kind of effort, but Swofford does a great job of that. And speaking of just defensive ends in general, I think Swofford has the ability where he could play outside linebacker in a 3-4 scheme, but for now he's primarily played in that 4-3 scheme. But I think he has the ability to adjust if he wanted to due to his athletic ability, not just because he's super aggressive, he's got strong hands, and overall when you combine that with a great football IQ, that is how you grab D1 coach's attention, and that is what Swofford is doing.
The Phoenix Suns have proven to be one of the top teams in the NBA for over the last couple of seasons. The Valley Boys have shown that they are better than last year. The Suns have twice reached 62 wins. In 92-93 when they lost to the Chicago Bulls in the NBA Finals, and in 04-05 as the Suns reached the Western Conference Finals in the first year of the 7 seconds or less era. Returning this season with a similar roster to the previous season, after they lost in the NBA Finals to the Milwaukee Bucks, the Suns wanted nothing more than to go after another championship title. The Suns started the season with a 1-3 start, but after stumbling on the court, the Suns quickly found their rhythm and went on an 18-game winning streak, where they finished with the league-best 64-18 record, first in the Pacific Division, and they are chasing a franchise record for wins in a regular season. The Suns clearly stood as the NBA's best team all season without being faced with much of a challenge. Devin Booker, being one of the best players in the NBA, is leading the Valley with an average of 26.8 points per regular season games, DeAndre Ayton leading the team with an average of 10.2 rebounds per regular season games, and Chris Paul leading the boys with an average of 10.8 assists per regular season games and 1.9 steals per regular season games. The Suns are leading the NBA with not only the most regular season wins, but a .78 win percentage, 43.7 field goals made, and 48.5 field goal percentage. With the playoffs underway right now, the Suns have been facing the New Orleans Pelicans and are tied 1-1 in the series. The playoffs have already been fun for Suns fans, and with the expectation of running it back to the finals, there is pressure on this team to give the Valley the best season yet. I'm Kayla Marina with the Varsity Sports Show.
Some great reporting, and it was an interesting week. Like we had started off saying at the top of the show, that we're winding down here, Nick, in studio here, guys, in case you just joined us with broadcaster Nick Hogan, who joined our team this semester. But, Nick, we're winding down the semester and wanted to continue to showcase all the great work you guys are doing, not only in the community with all the sports live streams and the games that everybody's been doing and pitching in and helping out with, but also with content. And it's been some amazing content. And this week, we kind of left it open as a free-for-all. We just told our staff, hey, report on whatever interests you. It doesn't even have to be sports-related. So Kayla Marina, one of our fine staff, reported on the Phoenix Suns. David Montoya talked about the effect that the Phoenix Suns are having in downtown. We're going to even have a report from Aviana Hoppus, one of our journalists, on the 27 Club, which is, kind of a club that is you don't really want to be a member of, and musicians that passed away at the age of 27. So we'll get more on that. When we come back, folks, we're going to be joined by Canyon View baseball coach Nick Swanson. A lot of success going on out there in Waddell in the Agua Fria School District, and Coach Swanson will be here to tell us about it and how things are going, as well as a bunch of other stuff going on throughout the rest of the show. Folks, we move fast. You don't want to miss a minute. You miss a minute, you miss a lot. Thanks again for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. Vince here, joined in studio by Nick Hogan. We'll be back after the break. Go Varsity.
We'll do what's best for the team, and we'll do what's best for you.
The Rich Eisen Show, coming to you weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
My name is Sherry Miller, and I am calling because I watch your broadcast of Canyon View every Friday night because my grandson in Arizona plays for them. And I just want to tell you how impressed I am by the young man who does the, I guess you would call it play-by-play. He's very excited. He's very cute.
Pinnacle Pain and Spine's team of professionals are ready to help with that nagging head, neck, back pain, and arthritis with proven treatment as soon as your first visit. Dr. Matthew Crooks and his friendly team have the highest consumer ratings in trust, friendliness, and easy scheduling. They work with most insurance plans. With locations in Scottsdale, Chandler, and Fountain Hills, pinnaclepainaz.com or call 480-407-6400. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer. Welcome to the Jaguar Nation. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner up with Canyon View High School in the West Valley to be the voice of Jaguar athletics. Tune in on Saturdays to hear the Jaguar Nation, featuring coaches, students, and staff between 9 and 10 a.m. on AM 1060 KDUS, and subscribe to the Varsity Sports Show YouTube channel to get free exclusive coverage of Canyon View sporting events. Welcome to the Jaguar Nation.
Jack it up.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with Desert Mountain Baseball this spring to bring you the defending 5A state champs. That's right, keep on the lookout for Wolves baseball live streams on the Varsity Sports Show YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button. We'll be covering Wolves varsity, JV, and freshman baseball this spring. Join Wolves coach Ryan Dyer as he breaks down games for us. Saturday mornings between 8 and 10 on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
James Out West, featuring Ryan Brooks, brings NFL, NBA, and local sports talk to you Monday nights at 7 here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Welcome to the Jaguar Nation on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, the Varsity Sports Show.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. It's time for the Jaguar Nation, joined by head baseball coach out at Canyon View High School, Nick Swanson. Coach Swanson, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Vince. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad, man. You know, we're riding a wave of success, and we're riding it with you. You guys are on fire. My gosh, you know, I say the same thing to Coach Jacobs, the softball coach out there. I don't know what's in the water, but you know, you have a crosstown rival in Agua Fria, and it's supposed to be, I mean, a big game, crosstown rival, 19-0 win. You know, you played Fairfax earlier in the week, 14-4 win. I mean, Coach, what's going on?
Yeah, we just swung the bats really well this week.
I'll say.
Yeah. Noah Mattis, has been one of our most consistent hitters all year, and he swung the bat well for us. Same with Connor Madison, who's one of our best pitchers, and he's been on fire all year as well. So, offense is really coming through this week.
Awesome. And Coach, you alluded to it a little bit about the way you guys have been swinging the bats, but just one easy number for you: 49 runs in the last 4 games. That's a huge number. Do you think that's just a product of practice, or is it just the matchup with the pitching? And how do you maintain that over the next following weeks rolling into the state tournament? Because obviously that's a hot streak, but those can be super hard to maintain.
Yeah. The separator in the good teams is pitching. It's always pitching. The high-end teams have good pitching, and those are low-scoring games. And the average teams have average pitching, and we can usually put up a lot of runs in those situations.
Coach, you've got looking ahead. Obviously, you're going to be playing Agua Fria again here in the season finale on Monday. But despite the fact you've had so much success out there, you're still third in your division. I mean, you got Millennium and Verado up front. How do you see things shaking out here for the postseason?
Yeah, our region's been really tough. Hats off to Verado and Millennium. They both have had successful seasons, and we have 3 teams in our region, or league rather, in the top 7 in 5A. So our region's been incredibly tough. And I would imagine that all 3 of us would go rather deep in the 5A state playoffs.
Coach, talk about the when I see your post-game victories and even some of the games that aren't victories, some of the losses, you still have you honor your player of the game. What is that gold chain that they're wearing?
Yeah, we started that. This is our first year with seniors.
And how do I get one of those?
We've been open for 4 years, and we started that before we had our first spring game, our players' freshman year. So 4 seasons ago. We wanted to come up with some game MVP celebration that we can post on Twitter. Coaching at Canyon View, you have to have a social media account. You have to be active on it.
That's right.
And I don't have a personal social media account, so I had to learn the hard way. But we came up with the Ice Money chain as the game MVP celebratory social media thing, and we've just continued it the whole time. And it's become very popular. You see a lot of other teams doing stuff like that, but we did start it 4 years ago, and it's been a lot of fun.
That is super fun, Coach. I love to see stuff like that. And so transitioning with that, you talk about having fun and using that chain. How do you instill like a nature of funness, if that's a word, in your team while still maintaining the seriousness nature that's needed to play the game of baseball at a high level? How do you let these kids have fun while also maintaining the serious attitude that you need to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask my kids, they would probably say we don't have a ton of fun, but I would disagree. I don't let my team talk trash or say things derogatory towards our opponent, but I allow them to celebrate each other, and that's how we operate. So we have some celebratory activities. For example, if our pitcher strikes out the side in an inning, we will circle up and honor the pitcher. If our pitcher goes 1, 2, 3 in an inning, we'll create a tunnel for him. We'll just do some silly things like that to keep it loose, to keep it fun. We have a dugout captain, so we have a player that's in charge of those celebrations, in charge of foul balls, in charge of charts, in charge of everything.
Yeah.
And I just turn to the dugout captain and say, hey, make sure this happens. Hey, this is a reminder. And they handle that. So we have a large roster with a lot of dugout responsibilities and a lot of fun things to look forward to during games.
Coach, you've also had a special guest that's been a big fan of yours. I believe his name is Isaac throughout the season. You want to tell the audience a little bit about Isaac?
Yeah, absolutely. Isaiah.
Isaiah, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Isaiah Cosme is a student with a visual impairment, and he attends our games. We call him our super fan. He absolutely loves Canyon View baseball, and because he can't see the game like a typical person, he views the game auditorily through the Varsity Sports Show. So when the Varsity Sports Show comes out, he sits near them and he can listen to the play-by-play, and he absolutely loves it. He just rides high on that for about a week and wants to talk about everything that happens during the game the next week in school. It's really, really cool.
Coach, I swear to you, I did not ask you for that plug, but thank you for that, and thank you to Isaiah for that positive sentiment. I mean, he's just a great kid, and he's been a lot of fun to have around the broadcast. So, and we hope that continues. So, Coach, thank you so much. Good luck to you guys. Monday night, you guys have Agua Fria, and then it's postseason implications. You're sitting at third in your division right now. We'll see how things shake out. Should make for an interesting postseason. Thanks so much to the administration out at Canyon View High School, particularly Athletic Director Andrea Hudson. Without her, none of this would be possible. And, Coach, without you, obviously none of this would be possible, along with the kids. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, I agree. Andrea Hudson has been just amazing. What an amazing supporter of our athletics. And thank you, Vince. I appreciate it. I enjoyed my time on the air, and good luck to you guys.
All right. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's time for the Recruiting Spotlight, sponsored by My Recruits and Coach Perot.
The next player we're going to highlight is Gavin Holtz, a 6'4", 300-pound offensive lineman, originally out of Radnor High School, but he's played 1 year of post-high school graduation football at Fork Union Military Academy out in the East Coast, specifically in Virginia. So although he's played 1 year post-high school, he still has 4 years of NCAA eligibility left. So there's plenty for recruiters to work with there as far as from an eligibility standpoint. But the first thing we have to mention with Holtz is 6'4", 300 pounds. That jumps off the page immediately. He's a big lineman, but also he's pretty big in the weight room as well. Benches 500, squats 600, deadlifts 810. So those are super impressive weight room numbers that are definitely going to catch the eye of scouts and recruiters as Holtz goes through this recruiting process. And currently with that recruiting process, he's getting looks, strong looks to be exact, from Hampton and other FCS programs. Before we go over our film study, I want to talk about what Coach Perone said about Holtz. He said Holtz is a devastating run blocker with great flexibility and violent hands. He also added that this is a type of prospect that is few and far between, and somebody who's a late bloomer that many coaches can now take advantage of. As we know from working with this segment over the past few weeks, Coach Perone does not mince words. He's super confident in players, and when he is, he really means it. And so before we really dive into this film study, I really just want to mention this comment that we have from Holtz. He said that if he is given a 1% chance, he will earn the other 99%. I know that sounds super cliche, but that's the kind of attitude you have to have in order to succeed as a late bloomer or an underdog, which is how many people could rightfully view Holtz. And so let's break it down a little bit what he does well in the football field. He's a super strong base, playing interior offensive line. That is something that's super necessary in order to pick up blitzes and just maintain your ground, but also it allows him to be a violent run blocker once he gets his feet chopping. When he's playing on the inside part of the offensive line, things can get ugly and you got to be a little bit nasty, right? You got to be willing to play a really physical style of football. He's able to do that due to his strength and his aggression, but also he's really effective on the outside when he's pulling and gets those blocks squared away. And so his skills are really based on inside offensive line position. And I think a huge part is just his experience playing defensive line in high school. And I think that's made him a lot smarter of an offensive lineman personally. But the biggest thing is he's obviously a super committed hard worker. Anybody who's willing to go out of high school and go to a military academy for a year and continue the recruiting process, that's a lot of hard work. And if one thing's for sure, it shows that he has a lot of heart and a lot of willingness to keep putting in work to be the best football player he can be.
So it's interesting, Nick. And Nick, by the way, great job on those reports this season. And in just a minute, we're going to transition to a report that our very own, another Nick Hall, reports on a track athlete from Park University in Gilbert, NAIA school out there. But Nick, real quickly, what's the experience been in doing that weekly recruiting spotlight report for you?
Well, I mean, to start, it's been a really big learning process, right? Because part of what I do outside of this Varsity Sports shows, I do a lot of player evaluation stuff for the NFL draft. And when you're looking at college prospects, those guys are really primed to be ready to go in the NFL. But these kids, there are a lot of raw prospects, so it could be really interesting trying to judge on how they're going to pan out because it's not an easy job.
No. Well, and what's interesting is to see how these kids, continue to develop beyond high school that, we're reporting on them now, and if those tangibles stay and if they continue to build on that. So great job on that all season long. It's been wonderful to hear, and I'm sure the kids appreciate that as well.
Park University's Sevilla Groby in her freshman year is already competing for spots in the NAIA national events. What's even more incredible is that she just started running competitively her senior year of high school. So what's made her transition to running so easy?
I think since it was so new, it was easier for me to I was so passionate about this newfound sport that I was good at. And so swimming, if I were to try and keep swimming, I'm kind of burnt out from it, from doing it for so many years. And so I think that since it's a newer sport and I had all of that previous training from soccer and swim, it wasn't hard jumping into a new sport.
Despite jumping into a new sport, her parents aren't even surprised at Sevilla's success.
I don't want to say they were too surprised because, I don't know, we were trying to be in some kind of collegiate athletics program. And so I guess they were just excited that I was able to continue my athletic career.
Head coach Brandon McMasters has high expectations for her even in the middle of an impressive opening season.
I actually told her that I think she could be one of the most talented athletes I've ever coached. I told her I've got high aspirations for what she can become.
With Sevilla's freshman season coming to a close, all eyes are looking to the future as one of the most gifted runners in the state looks to turn her natural skill into outright dominance.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hi there, this is Willow Canyon men's basketball coach Joseph Coletti. You are listening to the home of Wildcat Basketball, the Varsity Sports Show, 1060 AM, KDUS, Arizona.
Are you unable to do the things you love? Do you know your daily habits could be better to enhance your quality of life? Are you suffering with chronic pain or chronic illness and can't find the right solution that works for you? Fix Body Group was created so you have a team of professionals to help you achieve your health goals and get you back to doing what you love again. In Scottsdale, go to fixbodygroup.com or call 480-795-5329. Fix Body Group, proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show and Fitness Minute with Tyler Mayer. The Let It Fly football drills and skills camp is intense and rigorous, designed to improve skill levels for kids ages 7 to 14. Drills target hand and eye coordination, footwork, speed, agility, and quickness. Instruction from current and former professional and college athletes. Go to letitflyfootballcamp.com for more information. The Let It Fly football drills and skills camp is a proud sponsor of the Varsity Sports Show's IFL report with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston.
KDUS AM 1060 Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix is brought to you by AC by J, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Drains.
This program is paid for by the JV Sports LLC and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
It's time for Inside the Huddle with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, top of hour number 2, and it's time for Inside the Huddle with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston, good old number 18, local legend. Isaiah, how you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good, Coach. How about yourself?
Not too bad, man. You have just found a home. I mean, you knew what you could do, but a lot of other people didn't because they didn't really get a good chance to see you. Are you doing what you expected? Are you doing more? Are you doing less? Is there still a lot of things you can do? I mean, tell us what's your mindset right now?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I have big expectations for myself, and, it's been a journey, so had a lot of time to work on my craft and kind of just perfect my game. So I think, that's just all shown right now, and I definitely still have a lot of room. I feel like I can get better, so just expect big things moving forward.
So, Isaiah, we have in studio with us, we have broadcaster Nick Hogan, but on the phone, we also have, one of your biggest fans, if not the biggest, another one of our broadcast members, the beat writer for the Rattlers, Sam Valente. Sam, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Vince. I'm doing good, but, the Rattlers aren't playing today, so my Saturday's going to be a bit more boring as usual, unfortunately.
You light a candle? Are you the blinds closed at home? You sitting by the window with a cigarette? What's going on?
Oh, yes, something like that, something along those lines.
Okay, listening to some Coldplay. What questions do you have for the man of the hour?
Well, Isaiah, I'm curious because the Rattlers are on, a bye week. I'm curious, are there any, specific IFL games that maybe you and the guys will be watching, got your eyes on?
Yeah, obviously, I'm sure a bunch of guys will check out some of the games, probably, watch the Frisco game yesterday. Obviously, we play them next week, so I'm sure the guys will be checking it out. Myself, I've been just relaxing at home, enjoying the bye week, still putting in some work in the gym and whatnot. So just getting ready for next week.
Well, I have a question. What does a bye week look like in the life of Isaiah Houston?
Yeah, obviously try to stay off my feet, let my body recover as much as possible, enjoy some time with my dogs. Still work out, don't want to get out of shape, so still hitting the gym, still running a little bit, but definitely taking it a little easy, just letting the body recover.
Hey, Isaiah, Nick Hogan here. I just had one quick question for you about kind of relating to the bye week, like what Vince was talking about. One thing about being in season in a sport, it can be always really hard with the workout process, right? Because you don't want to burn yourself out. You want to let your body recover because football is a physical sport. And so when you talk about your workouts, do you hit the gym just as hard as you can, or do you struggle with being sore in that case? Or what workouts do you do to stay in shape but not, beat yourself up too much before game day?
Right. So obviously in season we do a lot of running in practice already. So the workouts in the gym more so focusing on, different movements, getting the body back mobile, and still lifting some heavy weights so you can maintain your strength and power, some like med ball throws and a little bit of plyometrics so you maintain that strength and power. But you want to keep the volume down so you don't burn your body out, kind of like you said. So, it's kind of tough to manage during the season, but we got a good strength coach, so he does his job, Coach Mo. So I'm feeling pretty good at this point.
Talking specifically about the Frisco Fighters, the team that you guys are playing out in the Dallas area next week, what can you tell us about them? What are you going to be matched up against?
Yeah, Frisco, they were good last year, and they seem to be even a little bit better this year. So, we know they're a tough team and got some good talent over there, well coached. But I think we'll be prepared coming off the bye week. I know coaches will have a good game plan ready for us, and we just got to go out there and execute it. And I think we'll be able to take care of business.
Regarding the workouts that you've been doing with young people out at Arizona Christian, are those still continuing on Wednesday nights?
Yes, sir. Wednesday nights, 5 p.m. Just reach out to me either on Twitter or Instagram at Isaiah Houston on Twitter, and then it's at I_Houston on Instagram. So you can reach out to me on one of those two. But yeah, Wednesday nights, 5 p.m. Arizona Christian off of 59th Avenue and Greenway.
Well, this is interesting because you guys out there, young people, it doesn't matter, middle school through pros, you guys want to work with a pro football player, a proven pro athlete. He's doing this in season. Head out to Arizona Christian University, 59th Avenue and Greenway, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Just walk on up. But you better, bring a couple things. Bring a good solid pair of shoes and bring the right attitude because he's going to work you. If you want to learn all the intricacies of wide receiver play from an active professional football player, this is your chance. So head out there. Man, Isaiah, I would, if I wasn't so out of shape, I'd come out there and probably get some lessons from you too. I don't know.
Hey, we can set up the one-on-one. Let me know.
Oh, man. Okay. Isaiah Houston, inside the huddle with Arizona Rattlers wide receiver Isaiah Houston. Thanks so much, Isaiah. We look forward to circling back with you. Good luck to you next week. And, Sam Valente, any last words?
Well, Isaiah, I just want to tell you, hope you've been enjoying the bye week. You're the man as always, and even though the Fires are my second favorite IFL team, I hope you guys beat them.
Okay.
I appreciate you, Sam. I think we'll get the job done.
There you go. All right, Isaiah Houston. Thanks again, Isaiah. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Connor Bonfilio is a sports journalism grad student at the Cronkite School at ASU, but Bonfilio was once a standout basketball player himself and has an incredible story of his basketball journey to tell. Let's take a look.
High school, I got competitive into basketball. I also started to grow at that time, so the beginning of freshman year, I was 5'6". The end of freshman year, I was 6'1". So I hit a huge growth spurt, which was perfect for basketball. I joined AAU. I was on the club circuit. I was playing summer league for my high school. I played varsity all 4 years. I was always pretty skinny, but I was tall enough. I was being recruited in high school for some Division 3s and 2s. I only had a couple of offers from a few small Division 1s like University of Portland, but I wanted to go to a big school, and no mid-majors or high majors were recruiting me. And I got into CU Boulder, and I was like, I'll just go check out the campus and see what happens. And I went, fell in love with it. I figured if I want to play, I can just try and walk on and go from there. Fast forward to my sophomore year, I met with assistant coach Mike Rohn of CU. He gave me a workout packet for the summer, said, we like what you have for us. Get in shape, come back, and come to the preseason workouts in August. I joined a Pro-Am league in Folsom, which is in Northern California. Really high-level competition to try and get myself in shape for the season. Second game of the year, I had a contact knee injury with my left knee. I tore my ACL and my meniscus. I was probably 2 months away from actually making the team, and I know for a fact I would have made it. I mean, I don't think I would have played much because walk-ons don't play, but I know I was good enough to be on that team, but never got the chance to. I was playing in a pickup game 2 months after my surgery, which is a horrible decision because it's a 9-month recovery time. And I did a spin move on the baseline and I felt it snap. And it didn't hurt because the graft hadn't fully grown in, but I literally felt it was like a rubber band. You pull it and it snaps back. That's how it felt to my leg. And I knew immediately I'd torn it again. In this process, I actually switched to golf. I ended up playing golf for CU as well. It's a lot easier on my knees. It's zero contact, zero impact. I was just trying to get to a point where I could still do athletic things and exercise and be healthy because, I'm still a young kid. And I just didn't want to be sidelined forever. And the surgeon and I talked about that. And I said, I want to be able to play, recreationally and for fun and not have to worry about my knee giving out every play. And thankfully I still do that. I play intramural basketball now and I can still give people buckets, thankfully. I definitely used to play above the rim and now I'm definitely playing below the rim.
It's the NYS on the Varsity Sports Show. AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. All right, guys, welcome to the NYS Report. And we are joined by the organizational leader of one of the teams being featured this week that we are broadcasting for, the Arcadia Titans 13U team, and Jerry Connolly, the organizational leader of the Titans. Mr. Connolly, how are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show this morning. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about your team and looking at your roster. Noticed it's a little on the smaller side. You've got 19, 20 kids on your roster where, a lot of teams tend to beef them up a little bit, get 35, 40. And based on your success, 65-6, 7 state championships, you guys must be doing something right.
Yeah, we just feel like, we're not here to take anybody's money, and we're here to get them to play, teach them how to block and tackle, and have them play both sides of the ball, because who knows where they're going to end up or what's going to happen when they get to high school, and, they don't want to come out of the game. So I find it a bigger dilemma if there is over 20 kids, because how is that fair? Like, life isn't fair, but the kids need to play. Even the kids that are brand new need some opportunities to learn how to play and get some experience. So we like to keep them, 19, 20 kids.
Sure. Well, and I'm sure, a good percentage of your kids have never put on pads before, but yet you guys are winning out there. And tell us about maybe the coaching, some of the coaches, because it's, parents giving up of their time as well.
Right. So basically, I'm the main coach, and I've coached the team has turned over since they started at 9. So in fact, we lost 8 players from the fall just because lacrosse, and we encourage them to play 2 different sports. But I played high school football. I went to college to play football. I just have the philosophy that, we try to run the exact same offense they're going to see in high school. So we're a little more progressive on what we run. We don't go under center. We run the spread. We'll jump into a jumbo set if we need to. And then I have 2 other coaches, JV John Bryant. He played at Saginaw Valley State. He's great wide receiver, defensive back coach. I have another young gentleman, Dylan Weldon, who's my wide receiver coach, and he played at Columbia. So I'm the old guy, so it's good to have the mix of the 2 new young guys out there.
Sure.
And, I have some other dads that have helped throughout the past, but basically I've run the club and run this group for 7 years.
What can you tell us about today's opponent, the Phoenix Dragons?
Well, we've played them several times. I think they scored on us once. They've never beaten us. So they're going to have a lot of kids. They'll have bigger kids. We're actually a weighted team, so they're going to be unweighted. So we're moving up to play them because these kids go to junior high school together.
Wow.
So as you expect, there's been some smack talk going on. So I called the league and I said, hey, can we play these dudes even though we're a weighted team and they'll be bigger? But we'll just go from there.
Well, there you go. A little friendly rivalry here going on as
exactly.
we speak out at Camelback High School this morning. Folks, you don't want to miss any NYS action, particularly here on the Varsity Sports Show. We are live streaming the game. Head over to our YouTube channel. The game will be archived. So Jerry Connolly, coach of the Arcadia Titans 13U team, junior high team. Thanks again, Jerry, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
Carving out time in your afternoon for the Doug Gottlieb Show right here on KDUS AM 1060, 100.7 HD2, and KDUS1060.com. Weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Thursday and Saturday night high school football game of the week. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans partner up with the varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Choose from Thursday or Saturday night and have an exclusive audience on a big stage. Call or text us at 480-779-9437 right away and join our team. High school football action on Thursdays and Saturday nights this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show. This fall, the Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Arizona High School Volleyball Game of the Week. Join us this fall when you'll catch your favorite teams going head-to-head in fast-paced volleyball action. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans partner up with the varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Call or text us at 480-779-9437 right away and join our team. High school volleyball action this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show. Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan.
This is Angie and Janika from Salem, Oregon. And we love tuning in to It's Dylan on the Varsity Sports Show.
Extra Point with Kayla and Kemp on KDUS AM 1060 from 11 to noon. Diving into local and national sports topics, plus the latest sports odds.
Welcome to Dylan. He's out and about looking for fun. He's Dylan. Brought to you by Chris Scott of RE/MAX Key Properties in Bend, Oregon, where it's living at its best. 541-999-5614. And now, it's Dylan. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. I looked up at Nick Hogan, a fellow broadcaster in studio, brings a lot of prestige to the position. He comes into the studio today and everything is just falling into the toilet. He looks at me and this, as soon as the song starts to play, I kind of set it up and told him a little about Dylan. And that, he's a longtime coach, teacher in the Valley, well-respected, but he's kind of a disgusting human being. And he just kind of looked at me, and as soon as that song started in the intro, he just looked at me. I couldn't stop laughing. Anyway, that brings us to It's Dylan. Dylan, how you doing?
I was doing great when you said I was respectable, and then you
respected,
hit me with
respected,
disgusting. Yeah, respected, and then disgusting in the same sentence.
Well,
hey,
Nick, are.
Nick, please tell me you are built like Hulk Hogan, and you're going to put a foot in Vince's face and then drop the leg on him. Please,
Absolutely.
Please, somebody has to do this for me.
People's shoulder is about 45 seconds away from our show script.
So, all right.
Sweet.
So, yes, Dylan. So, okay, with that, and he is a good guy. I've known him for years and years. He wouldn't be here if he wasn't a good guy. But he's Dylan. We had a friend named Chris Scott, who's a fine realtor in Bend, Oregon, Central Oregon. I mean, you guys are wondering, why is there a realtor from Central? Well, he's a guy that grew up in the neighborhood, and he kind of saw the banter between Dylan and I throughout on social media for
years and years, and he finally said, this would be great to bring to radio, to share with the audience. So we are sharing with the audience this banter, and thank you, Chris Scott, for making this possible. Chris Scott of Remax. Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly.
Chris is the man for making this happen. But again, it's one-sided. Like, if I come back at you in any such way, we're going to get fined and canceled.
Yeah. Well,
so
that not only that is that the fans really like me, and they don't like you. And
I don't know about that.
Was that a dish? Did I just hear a dish in the background? Are you eating again? What's going on?
Eating. Putting dishes away.
Okay.
I've got to get Loki's plate out.
Loki is the 14-year-old mini pincher.
Yeah. I'm not winning any Father of the Year awards today. I went to feed. I fed the cats, went to feed Loki, and it was dry. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing for the dog.
So what's going on today, Dylan?
Well, I hit a sunrise, and I was going to try and sleep in today because I've got a pretty loaded day. I mean, it's going to go deep into the night, and I was going to try and sleep in, but of course couldn't. About 5 o'clock, I popped up. Took my time getting up, had my coffee as usual, and then I hit the mountain and got in some hiking, trail running for about an hour and 15 minutes, and then took the dog to the park. And like I said, I've got a pretty full day of just kind of running around, and then tonight going to a concert down at the Crescent Ballroom. I've been looking forward to seeing these guys for years.
Who is it?
The record company out of LA. They're just a phenomenal kind of Americana rock band. But with the shutdowns and COVID and all that kind of stuff, there hadn't been a lot going on. So they finally rescheduled or they're appearing. They're coming tonight. We've got tickets. Going with a good friend of ours.
So
I don't know if he wants anybody knowing that he actually hangs out with me, but
probably not. So tell us about next week. You got a special trip coming up.
Yeah, New Orleans Jazz Fest. Finally get to get out there for not such a quick turnaround. I mean, the last couple, maybe 3 times I've gone out, it's fly in, hit a couple shows and a couple great meals, and then fly out.
Yeah. Speaking of flying, do you have to get 2 seats or 3?
I pay extra to get early boarding, so I'm the one that sits there and watch everybody's. No, listen, I watch everybody's faces as they're approaching me if they're going to sit by me. And I usually end up with a seat next to me empty. So
how does it feel?
It's great.
How does it feel not being able to wear one of those like neck rolls that people wear on planes because you have no neck? How does that feel? Is that like a stigma? Do you feel?
Without having a neck, it just sits naturally. So I'm good. I laugh at the other people that spend money on that stuff. My neck just supports the head. I'm good. Rest comfortably on my shoulders. I'm okay.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna have.
Hey, next time I see you, I'm gonna be I'm already in the 240s. Okay, I haven't been in the 240s for 12 to 13 years.
Yeah,
so
but
next time I see you, I might be in the 230s.
Yeah, but
and then you're not going to be able to make fun of me anymore.
You're 4'11", for God's sake. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Hey, just a disclaimer: we don't judge 4'11" people.
No. It's we have
Bowser
fun.
May, but I do not.
Yeah, he calls me Bowser. We have fun. We have fun. It's nothing insulting. We have fun. Nick, you had a quick question for Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan, you're talking about like losing weight and stuff, but you're going to New Orleans. That's like a total food town. Like you got like the jambalaya and all the good stuff they have down there in the bayou.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's going to be incredible. I'm looking forward to tearing up some etouffee. I will do a bunch of jambalaya. I'll get some po' boys in. I'll get the crawfish Monica at the festival. Yeah. It's something I look forward to every time I go. People that have never been to New Orleans, forget about the Pelicans and the Saints, right?
Yeah.
It's music, it's culture, it's food. It's the greatest city. My personal favorite. It's just amazing when you're there. Obviously, you know your role and you read the room and all that kind of stuff. And there are some parts that you need to avoid because it's just not for you. But when you go for festival season or for Halloween or just any of the music holidays, basically, it's second to none. And the people and the culture and the hospitality, it's amazing.
All right, so everyone tune in next week for a special edition of It's Dylan. Dylan, we got to wrap, and thank you. Good luck, safe travels, and as always, you're a good friend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Good deal. Hey, Nick, just a quick poke to the eye, please. Anything.
I got
Anything will work at this point.
About to go full Mario on Bowser right here.
Hello, this is Sam Valenti with the Varsity Sports Show, and I am joined by legendary ASU Sun Devil offensive lineman Kyle Murphy. Kyle, it's such an honor to be talking with you, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Sam. It's nice meeting you, and thanks for having me on.
Hey, of course. It's a pleasure, like I said, a pleasure to be talking with you. First off, I got to ask this. What was your personal favorite memory of that amazing 96 season?
My favorite one was the U of A game. While Nebraska was awesome, clinching the Rose Bowl against Cal was great. Going down and beating the U of A 56-14. What's interesting about that is we didn't even score until I think the very beginning of the second quarter. So once we got in the end zone and kind of started rolling, we had 2 touchdowns taken away. We had a pick in the end zone. So it could have very easily been 77. And at that point, we were playing our best football of the year. We were just rolling. So for me, that's my favorite one.
Once again, this is Sam Valenti, joined by ASU legend Kyle Murphy here on the Varsity Sports Show. I have to ask this. What was it like getting to play with Pat Tillman? What are some memories you have playing with Pat?
Oh, man, I would say probably my memories aren't so much playing with him. I mean, again, he was on my team. I didn't, when you're on different sides of the ball, you don't get to experience as much in terms of the playing field. My greatest experiences with him were just talking to him, just hanging out with him, being a dude. What I try to tell people, the greatest thing about Pat was that he would want to know what you're doing. He'd be interested in you. Like, what are you doing? Like, he would ask you, Sam, like, hey, why, it seems like you're really interested in journalism. What is it that brought you to wanting to do that? What do you hope to aspire to? And then he would just talk to you, right? And be super interested, and not in a fake or contrived way. It was genuine. He wanted to know, what you were doing, and he was interested in it. And ultimately what I've learned over time is I think he was always looking to people to, what made you successful, or what made you passionate, right? What things do you have that I have, or what are things that you have that I may want to aspire to? And that's really where the interest came from.
For sure. I'm also curious, do you just have any, like messages you have for, Sun Devil fans and stuff, might be watching or listening to this?
Of things that are taking place at ASU, I'm one that is also critical. Just make sure that, again, we know what we're being critical of, and we're also supporting, right? And not just football, right? Are you supporting women's basketball, track, softball, baseball, basketball, like all of it, swimming, diving? And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to all those events. Are you congratulating people? If you see things on social media, do you scroll by it, right? All of those things help create a program that has sustained success.
It's the NYS on the Varsity Sports Show. AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. All right, guys, we are joined by coach of the Phoenix Dragons, 13U team, Coach Neo Downs. Coach Downs, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
Oh, great. Coach, welcome to the show, and thanks for taking time out this morning to allow us to chat with you. We are so excited to be continuing our coverage of NYS football, and obviously you guys this morning are playing the Arcadia Titans. Let's talk a little bit about the Phoenix Dragons. Tell us about your team.
Right now we have close to about 30 kids. They're more so first year or second year players, so we're still in that process of trying to get everyone to buy into what we're teaching and just understanding football in general. But right now I believe we have a great group of guys.
How
have
is
a few returners?
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you. I really wanted to ask you about your schedule also, because you mentioned you've got a good number of kids that it's their first year playing. So obviously, learning the fundamentals of the game, and how's that translated to what we're seeing on the field?
The past two games we've won. 18-0 and 50-0. So
oh wow, okay,
it's been going well so far. Right now we're sitting at 2-2.
okay.
As expected, our first game, it's more so like a learning experience. Guys getting out there for the first time. The nervousness and everything. We had to get that out the way. Second game, we lost pretty bad. We had a lot of players out.
Oh boy.
Because we travel far to our games. Like this Saturday will actually be our first time playing at Camelback High School, which myself and a lot of the kids are excited about because even last year we never had the opportunity to play at Camelback High School.
Sure.
So we've always been traveling. That's been big on getting numbers to the game as well. So this I'm pretty excited about this Saturday.
Let's talk a little about the league in general, because my experience in dealing with teams in the NYS, it's been pretty well organized. It's been a good organization to work with. What's been your experience with the teams that you've faced being a part of NYS?
For the most part, I feel the same way. I feel like a lot of teams are organized. A lot of coaches seem like they're actually involved. A lot of the parents seem like they're actually involved. So I feel like it's been a good experience overall.
Thanks so much for taking time out, Coach Downs. Good luck today, and the game is on the Varsity Sports Show YouTube channel as we speak, and kickoff was 8 o'clock this morning. Head on over there and enjoy the football game, and of course the games will be archived for playback. So thanks again, Coach Neo Downs, Phoenix Dragons.
Thank you for having me.
SB Nation Radio is now Sports Map Radio, keeping sports content fresh and fun. Join us right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Hi, this is John Crane, Vice Mayor of Carefree, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060.
Your real estate professional, Harold Steffi, broker and owner at Core Values Realty, believes it comes down to 5 things: trust, integrity, respect, honesty, and loyalty. These are just not words. They are what they say they are, nothing else. When you choose Harold Steffi, whether you are buying or selling your home, you can expect your 110% satisfaction and his commitment to ensuring that all your real estate needs are taken care of every step of the way. Call Harold Steffi at Core Values Realty, 623-693-6178. The Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Thursday and Saturday night high school football game of the week. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans partner up with the varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Choose from Thursday or Saturday night and have an exclusive audience on a big stage. Call or text us at 480-779-9437 right away and join our team. High school football action on Thursdays and Saturday nights this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show.
Hi, this is the Director of Community Engagement for Hospice of the Valley, Lynn Sue Cooney, and you are just not cool if you are not listening to the Varsity Sports Show, the home of youth, high school, college, and you on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Monday nights from 7 to 8 p.m., it's James Out West featuring Ryan Rooks as the duo breaks down the NFL, NBA, and the local sports scene here on KDUS AM 1060.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
It's time for Prowler Power on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Y'all ready for this?
All right, guys, we are joined on the line by Phoenix Prowlers head football coach Joe Ramirez. Coach Ramirez and his Prowler squad are up in Seattle for a big game tonight against the Seattle Majestics, who we had a chance to see close up and personal last week out in Vegas. Coach Ramirez, how are you, sir?
We're good. How you doing, Vince?
Great, thank you. Thanks for taking the time out this morning as you guys prepare for a game. Coach, I want to talk to you a little bit about your week in practice. Obviously, you guys had a bye week this last week, so you had a chance to watch the Seattle Majestics take on the Las Vegas Silver Stars. How's your week been?
You know, Vince, we're we've been working a lot on trying to get some kind of offense, generate some kind of offense, because we haven't been able to gel as an offense yet. So just the little things, going back to basics and working on some offensive plays that we think we can run effectively in the game.
Yeah, well, it's great that you guys have you got your quarterback QB1 Danielle Harrison back. She kind of shook the rust off a little bit in that last game against the Legends, and hopefully she's on point and doing a little things better. And you were able to find out some great things about other people on your team, such as Chelsea Arnwine ran tough. You got Shea Hall as another option in there. So any new wrinkles in the game plan for tonight's game?
Well, we did have some additions this past 2 weeks, and we got a couple new receivers, so we're working them into the offense too. If we can open up the passing game, I think that will help the run game a lot more.
Sure.
Because when they load 9 in the box, it's really hard to run on them,
Let's talk about the Seattle Majestic defense. As I said, we had a chance to see them firsthand last week, and tough squad up front. Their front 7-8 are a tough bunch. What are you expecting? How well do you feel you match up against them?
As far as our O-line goes, I think we match up pretty good because they basically line up in stacks, which makes it easier. Our block's easy, but they give the appearance that the A gaps are open when they got 2 real big linebackers coming downhill. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We're going to have to pass to be able to run. And so that's what we've been working on. Little things.
They've got also, we talk about their offense, and they've got this quarterback. She's 5 feet tall, but she runs the football. Her name is Michaela Hero, and as you see her tuck that ball away and run, she really reminds me of Russell Wilson, the way she runs. But what are you planning on doing defensively to put pressure on the Majestic offense?
Basically that. I've been watching her for a couple seasons now. She's very good. We're gonna have to contain her to the middle and force her to throw the ball. So hopefully our outsides force her back to the middle and
Sure.
she doesn't get outside on us.
All right. Seattle Majestics hosting our very own Phoenix Prowlers of the Women's National Football Conference up in Seattle tonight. Guys, it's going to be a great matchup, and Coach Joe Ramirez with his team up there hungry for their first win of the season. Hopefully they can put it together and get it done tonight. Coach, good luck to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thank you, Vince. We'll do our best.
I'm Alyssa Munoz, and this week for the JUCO Update, I wanted to talk a little bit about tennis and the Arizona Community College Athletic Conference. So some big news, Eastern Arizona Gila Monsters have won the Women's Championship with a perfect conference record of 9-0 at the end of this past March. Their season ended at 7-2 with the win over Paradise Valley, and some top players to look for on this team would be Laura Colum. Laura finished her season with no losses at number 1 singles, and the Gila Monsters also played for the Region 1 Championship this past Tuesday against Mesa and won 12-11. Up next for them will be the NJCAA Women's Division 1 National Championship, which will be held in Tucson, Arizona, May 7th through 11th. And that's going to be it for the JUCO Report today. Again, I'm Alyssa Munoz.
The first drowned in a swimming pool. One shot himself, and quite a few overdosed. All these famous musicians led very different lives, but their fate was the same. None of them lived to the age of 28. Welcome to the 27 Club. I'm Aviana Hoppus.
And I'm Cece Gilmore, and on this show, Welcome to the 27 Club, we'll be diving into the sudden death of many famous musicians.
This week's episode, we'll be recapping some of our favorite members of the 27 Club. The first of my favorites is Nirvana's frontman Kurt Cobain. In my opinion, Cobain was one of the most talented members of the 27 Club and had one of the strangest deaths. As we talked about in an earlier episode, Cobain's death was ruled a suicide after he shot himself in the head in April of 1994. However, there are many things that don't add up about his death. For example, Cobain was famously left-handed, yet the gun was found in his right hand. Despite struggling with mental health and a heroin addiction, friends and family members close to the frontman say that he seemed to be doing a lot better in the months leading up to his death. On top of all this, Cobain was in the process of getting a divorce from his wife, Courtney Love. It's no secret that Love was after his money, as she sued the surviving band members after her husband's death. Many believe that Love had something to do with his death and that it wasn't a suicide. Cobain's ability to write songs proved that he was a generational talent. The melodies he could come up with, despite his claims that he didn't know music theory, puts him on the same talent level as Lennon and some of the other greats. Cobain and his band Nirvana experienced massive commercial success. Their song Smells Like Teen Spirit is one of the most played MTV videos ever. The next member of the 27 Club that I absolutely love is the Doors frontman Jim Morrison. Morrison was your stereotypical, charming, timeless frontman, one who was almost James Dean-esque. Morrison died in a bathtub on July 3, 1971. His death was ruled an accidental heroin overdose, although no autopsy was ever performed due to French customs since he died in Paris. Another coincidental thing about the 27 Club is Morrison's lack of autopsy, which is very similar to that of Janis Joplin, who also never had an autopsy done either. The timeless frontman is one of my favorite members due to his insane talent and incredible lyrics. His lyrics often sound like spoken word, reflecting his background as an English writer and poet, not to mention the vocal range he had, which could easily go from soft and fragile to stern and hardcore rock and roll. Morrison will forever remain an icon in the music world. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Welcome to the 27 Club.
Ever wonder why most of the sports you see on TV are men's sports? Or why Diana Taurasi makes 0.5% of what Steph Curry makes in a year? Tell me what's wrong with that. I dove deep into why sports media neglects female sports on the big screen. Jane Swaggerty is an Olympic medalist from the 1968 Summer Games. She feels the reason media outlets promote men's sports over women's sports is because the men bring in the money.
Well, I think that the men sports bring in more revenue for the networks. You know, more men are watching the major sports, and I think that's part of the reason.
Swaggerty is right. Women don't have the opportunity to compete in football, sports media's most lucrative sport. In 2021, the NFL signed new media deals worth over $100 billion over 11 years. No female sports league comes close to that amount. The most shocking part of this story is that the problem comes from the origins of gender roles in society. This is much bigger than just ESPN.
Sports are considered to be like a men's thing. And technically, like, you wouldn't say that sports are for women, I guess. And I think that's the issue we run into. For one, why people don't watch for women's sports.
That's Nikki Pika, a former Division I softball player for the University of North Dakota. Pika believes that sports have always been created by men for men. Not surprisingly, Swaggerty experienced the exact same thing.
When I swam, there was no women's swim team in high school. So there was a boys' high school swim team, but the girls couldn't compete. We couldn't train with the boys. We couldn't swim with the boys. So there was no program for the girls.
The lack of coverage of women in media is much deeper than anticipated. Thankfully, there is a bright future on the horizon. U.S. viewership of the 2019 Women's World Cup final was 22% higher than that of the men's final in 2018. Reporting from Phoenix, I'm Connor Bonfilio with the Varsity Sports Show.
Some great reporting from our team of broadcasters, and Connor doing a great job with women in sports, and before that, the 27 Club. So, like I said, we opened it up this week. We said, do what interests you. And some great reporting. Aviana Hoppus, who's an amazing broadcaster as well, and who's calling the game this morning out at Camelback High for the NYS Dragons and Titans. Hey, Nick, so far, your impressions of the show?
My impressions, of course, I have to say it's good. What do you mean, my impressions of this show? You have to say against the wall
no,
here.
You could be honest.
No, of course I enjoy it. I work here. I'm a part of this, so I'm always going to say this is awesome. But I do mean that. It's a good product. It's unique, right?
Okay.
We do high school, pro, college, 27 club. We're doing it all.
Yeah.
That's why it's interesting. That's what radio is. If it's interesting, it's good, and we're interesting.
There you go. Okay, folks, when we come back from the break, it might get a little less interesting, Nick, because we're going to have the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report with my old friend and acquaintance Mike Beal. You won't want to miss it, folks. We're going to make sure you leave with a smile on your face. And then we'll be joined with the president of the Arizona Roadrunners football team, Mr. Matt Mason, to close out the show and a special announcement. Join us here on the Varsity Sports Show. We will be back in about a minute and a half or so. Go Varsity.
Keeping the sports topics fresh and honest is Bob Kemp with the Sports Zone. Heard weekdays from 9 to 11 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Hello, this is OUAZ football coach Mike Nesbitt, and you are listening to the home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
This fall, the Varsity Sports Show is proud to present the Arizona High School Volleyball Game of the Week. Join us this fall when you'll catch your favorite teams going head-to-head in fast-paced volleyball action. Coaches, administrators, boosters, and fans partner up with the varsity team to broadcast your games this fall. Call or text us at 480-779-9437 right away and join our team. High school volleyball action this fall, brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show.
Hey, this is Mike from Beachin' with Beal. I'm here in Zacatecas with my good friend and defending El Pollo Feliz Open champion, Iban, and we're listening to the Varsity Sports Show. That was the golf tournament that he won last week.
Oh, good. Okay. What'd you win?
$150.
Catch Bob Kemp in the Sports Zone every weekday from 9 to 11 right here on KDUS AM 1060.
And now it's time for Beachin' with Beal. Random thoughts from a real Orange County, California surfer guy, Mike Beal. The opinions expressed during the segment in no way represent those of KDUS AM 1060 Arizona, the Varsity Sports Show, its host, or its listeners.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, and Nick, fellow broadcaster Nick Hogan, in studio with us today. Nick, when I told you, and I tried to set up some of these segments for you, and I told you about this last one, what stood out the most about this particular segment?
Well, number one, I love the beach.
Okay.
And number two, I just read a thing about shark attacks going up, so I'm super excited to hear Beal's response about whether or not he's fearing those sharks out in the water.
Let's bring him on. Mike, do you fear the sharks?
Vince, the man behind the mic. Yes, I am terrified of sharks. The men in the gray suits are, it's intimidating when you see them. It's not good. I honestly, sometimes I paddle in just when I see seals or dolphins.
Yeah.
It's frightening.
Yeah. Now, last time you were on with us, you told us you had a bit of you were in a predicament where you fell off your board, you hit the water kind of hard, and you thought maybe you had a slight concussion. How are you doing since then?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, I'm back to 100%. I'm actually on my way right now to do some pickleball training in Huntington Beach for the Newport Classic tournament that if I win, Vince, and you reimburse me for my entry fee, I will dedicate my victory to the show.
Now,
Nick.
So I have to ask about this.
And our listeners.
Right. So you're playing in this tournament. What's the average age in this tournament? Like 93?
They're not in high school. They're a little bit older, more,
And are you just like taking them to task? I mean, are you playing like some grandmas out there and great grandmas and really,
Surprisingly, it is a game of skill, and you have to have some ability to play. So the sport transcends age. Anyone can play it.
All right.
But yeah, the competition is fierce out here. It's a very popular game.
Do they talk a lot of trash to you? Like, do they make fun of you?
No, it's kind of the other way. Like if I were playing you, I could say all kinds of things throughout the game. It works that way. I don't receive insults. I administer them.
Okay. All right. So, Nick, you had a question for Mike?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to back him up here. Pickleball is for everybody. Every free time I have on my weekends, I spend playing pickleball. It's super huge in my family. We just poured a court, but not a colt. That'd be stupid. But it's a great sport, and I'm 21, so
yeah,
it's for everybody. It's great.
Yeah, it can be competitive. I mean, I grew up playing ping pong, and then I started playing a little tennis when I got older, and then all of a sudden, a year ago, my wife and I started playing pickleball with some friends of ours, and I'm 100% addicted. It's such a great game.
Yeah,
if you like ping pong,
it's the best.
It's the best.
Okay, so this being I'm generating ideas in my head right now. I could see us doing a pickleball segment in the future. But what? This is a beach report or a surfing report. What's going on at the beach today?
Well, the beach right now, it's the typical time of year where in the spring, March, April, and May, it's super windy. So that's not good for surfing. We call that being blown out or junky. So, like, for example, yesterday it was windy all day.
Yeah.
And this morning there's no wind, but the ocean has what's called morning sickness. It's still all junky, and kind of that's the big story. But this big story, I guess, in the surfing world is a guy rode a wave in Portugal, a place called Nazaré, 115 feet a couple of years ago, and then the videos just came out.
Wow.
So yeah, it kind of reminds me of back in 2005 when I went to the North Shore of Kauai, a place called Hanalei Bay.
Yeah.
I rode a monster wave too once, and I can tell you guys from experience, it is terrifying.
Really?
It's scary. It's the scary. Yeah, I wouldn't even have paddled out, but I get to this place. I forgot my binoculars, so you paddle like a half mile out to the bay, and before you can see the waves. And I got out there, and it was ginormous. It was probably 20 to 30 feet. I had to sit there for an hour before I finally took off on a wave. But when I did, it was I've never felt the sensation before or since. But I want to say the wave I got was 20 feet, but it was closer to 15.
Yeah.
I would be terrified from shore watching a 115-foot wave break.
Now, when that happened and you're riding this wave, I mean, what do you see around you besides water?
Well, that's the other thing. You're flying. I'd never ridden as fast on a surfboard as I did that day on those huge waves. It's just kind of intensity's dripping out your fingernails. You're just, and it happens so fast. It's quite a rush. Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine those guys on the big waves, what they feel like.
Wow. Okay. So like you said, the intensity, the adrenaline is flowing. It's nothing that you ever felt while on the gridiron back in high school because you never stepped on the field. But it's nice that you feel it now.
I'm glad that we get to switch topics of football because I wanted to ask. I had a question for you about the Arizona Predators. If they had like an open tryout for the scout
Roadrunners,
team,
Arizona Roadrunners.
the Roadrunners.
Yeah.
They had like an open practice for scout team second string.
Yeah.
So it's a two-part question. A, do you think you'd make the team?
Yeah.
And B, what position would you play if being left out or maintenance is taken?
Well, it's funny that you say that because let's bring the man on. Go ahead, Aaron.
The Arizona Roadrunners professional football organization on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
All right, so joining us. There we go. Joining us on the line, in addition to Mike Beal with the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report, we're joined on the line by the president of the Arizona Roadrunners professional football team, Matt Mason. Matt, can you answer that question? What position would I make the team, and what position would I play?
Oh, man. Well, we'd have to see you out first. The age requirement, you may be a little too old for us, unfortunately. We don't want to get people hurt. Part of our responsibility is just making sure that guys are at a certain talent level when we do put them against our guys.
Yeah.
Not saying that we won't have a scout team or a practice squad because we will. But those players are going to be on their younger developmental side, literally still trying to develop their abilities, but getting to work with our really talented coaches. That's kind of why they're going to buy in on that side.
All right, so you're telling me that we need to stick with broadcasting.
Unfortunately, I'm out of the wheelhouse, no pun intended, with our facilities, but I couldn't do it right now if I wanted to. I'll be at all the games, but even if they looked at me and said, Matt, we're a lineman down, there's no way I can physically do that.
All
Not
right.
happening.
Well, Matt, thank you for joining us. You've got a big announcement. What's going on?
I do. Well, I know Michael Patterson had to step away from our organization. He took a job with USA Football that was a step up, devoted more of his time to his coaching. So we graciously said, absolutely, brother. But we did bring in a defensive coordinator, Rich Britt, a guy that has a very long-standing resume in the professional ranks, as well as locally here at Mesa Community College.
Nice. So Coach Britt, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
and so what type of philosophy, mentality does he bring into calling defense?
The great thing about Coach Britt, me being an ex-defensive coordinator and a defensive guy myself, when he had kind of spoke about what kind of defenses he would like to bring, and that's one of the first things the defensive coordinator asked, what kind of defense do you guys run?
Yeah.
But his answer was great. It was, I'm gonna use my players, and we'll play the best defense that we have with the talent we have. So he's one of those guys that can do a 4-3, run that 4-2, or even bring in a 3 front if we need it. So it's really cool to get a guy at this caliber at this late in this process, because we're almost to our season. We're getting ready to start in about a month. So having him step in and join, it just helps us out a lot more.
Well, and you can get all of your Arizona Roadrunner coverage right here on the Varsity Sports Show. We are so excited to be partnering up with you guys. We'll be carrying some games and as well as doing our weekly reports with you. So, Matt Mason, president of the Arizona Roadrunners, thanks so much, Matt, and we look forward to circling back.
I appreciate it, Vince. Beep, beep.
All right. So, Nick, that's the end of the show. I mean, we're right here butting up against the hour. What an incredible show. And obviously, Nick, thank you so much for the compliments. And there's always ways we can, make the show better. And we can talk about that offline. You can give me your list when we're done. But Nick, what's on the horizon for you? What do you got going this summer?
Ooh, I'm going to be pretty busy. I'm trying to figure out some summer work. Might go work some sales and marketing jobs with my good friend. Also might just spend the summer at home, work on the farm, doing some sports stuff on the side
cow
as
tipping,
well.
though, yeah.
No cow tipping, just a lot of hard work, probably build a lot of fence, haul a lot of gravel, haul some hay.
Nice.
But it'll be good. Probably do some stuff in the sports world as well, as always. That never changes, never stops.
Awesome. Big thank you to all of our staff for the incredible content that they submitted today. Next week is going to be Intern Day on the Varsity Sports Show. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be all about our interns, and we've got a special show dedicated to the Spring Spotlight Series hosted by our very own Geraldine Torellis. That'll be in hour number 2 next week. So hour number 1, Intern Day on the Varsity Sports Show. You'll get to know our staff and the incredible work they did this year, and you'll hear from them directly, as well as our regular segments that we run. And then hour number 2, once again, will be a special hour-long Spring Spotlight Series hosted by Geraldine Torellis. Big thank you today to all of our guests, Desert Mountain baseball coach Ryan Dyer. Big thank you to Saguaro Sabercat head baseball coach Joe Mickey. Big thank you to Canyon View Jaguar head baseball coach Nick Swanson,
Big thank you to my old buddy. It's Dylan Weinmiller. We have a lot of fun. Don't take anything personally, folks. It's all in good fun. Mike Beal, Beachin' with Beal, Matt Mason, president of the Arizona Roadrunners, and everybody else for joining us today. Big game tonight, WNFC, Las Vegas Stars hosting the Utah Falcons. Watch it. You can get there by our Twitter handle, @Varsity Show. It's a free broadcast. If you're in Vegas, come out and say hi tonight out at Faith Lutheran Academy. And thanks again. Ed and Javon are up next. Have a great week, everyone. Go Varsity. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a